Everyone, welcome back to another YouTube video. In today's video, we will be covering the 10 mistakes a beginner data analyst would make, and my intention for this video is to help you minimize those mistakes if you are a beginner data analyst. And hopefully this video helps you and minimize those mistakes and get you to become a data analyst faster. So without wasting much time, let's jump right in. So the first mistake a beginner data analyst would make is learning too much theory. I know. Some of you might not like this advice, but as a data analyst and being in this industry for about more than 5 years now, I definitely would say the time that I spent learning theory, it's good in a way to understand the basics and how just things work is good. But after a point, you need to understand how to put that theory to use. So if you are a more of a research oriented person, then I think focusing on theory is great. But if you are looking to use your skills practically in the real world, then spending too much time on theory is, I would say, a mistake for a beginner data analyst. The next one is underestimating your SQL skills. SQL skills are very important. I don't know how you pronounce it. Is it SQL or SQL? Never mind. So however you pronounce it, underestimating your SQL skills are, many people say that SQL is super easy, I'm going to learn it at the end, and forget that, how important it is to actually understand how, SQL, especially the aggregations, different functions that you use in SQL, that is really important. And I always would suggest you to start learning SQL and then add on your tool sets, your skills, your technical skills on top of SQL. So that would be one of probably the mistakes that I made. I was like, SQL is super easy, but I'm going to focus on Python first. But when I came into the real world, then I started using more of SQL and very less of Python. So there you have it. The next mistake that I would avoid is when you are trying to get into the data world. It could be from a different non-technical background, or it could be having a master's degree and right after school you're trying to get a data role. So I would suggest that having too much technical jargons on your resume, like loud different technical skills, like for example Python, R, Tableau, Power BI, many other different technical skills. You list out probably around 12 to 15 technical skills, and then you use a lot of terms like, especially if you are your resume is more towards data science and you have a lot of machine learning jargons there, deep learning jargons there. It is not a good thing, because generally, like in companies, so if a recruiter looks at it, they would think you have a bunch of gibberish there and they would automatically ignore it. Always try to use keywords that are ATS formatted. So use that and try and reduce as much as technical jargon as possible. Even like they say, explain it to like a 5-year-old, right? So try to do that on your resume. It will give the recruiter an idea that, okay, you understand the concept and you are able to articulate it well by, making it so clear. So try to do that. So the next one is overestimating the value of an academic degree. Okay, again, for this one, I think I might get a little bit of, what are you talking about? But hear me out. So overestimating the value of an academic degree. An academic degree will get your foot right into the industry. So if you have a data analyst or a data science degree, personally, I have mentored people who have the master's degree but are still struggling to find a job. But why I would say overestimating the value of an academic degree, because it is always good to have an academic degree to get your foot in the door, but it is not going to help you to progress your career. So data analyst, the way you grow within the company is highly dependent on the number of projects, the number of successes that you have contributed to the organization. So it is nothing related to your academic degree. Probably like 10 years down the line, for me, people wouldn't like look at, and as you might have noticed, like on your resume, the education would be at the bottom of your resume, whereas the work experience would precede. So always try to focus more on being that problem solver, being more giving that attention to detail to problems, solving challenging problems. That is the kind of a person you should be if you want to get into the data world. The next one is searching to narrow. So this searching to narrow here, I mean, is if you are I'm assuming that you are a beginner and you're trying to move into a data analytics role. So don't try to restrict yourself to, only if I get 100, all the points on the job description match my profile, until then I'm not going to apply. Don't do that. So try to apply for as many roles as possible, because data analysts are also known as BI analysts, and I think there are a lot of similarities with these roles. So apply for as many roles as possible, because firstly, you are in the data world, which is already a niche. But if you restrict yourself with I'm going to apply only for this role because it matches 80% or 100% to my profile. So whenever you're looking for a job, I would suggest that you go ahead and apply for roles that are even not like even if it's just like matching 50% to the job description, I would say apply. You never know, you might get that chance. And all these chances would help you to become a better interview taker. It would give you the confidence. So I would say when you're searching for jobs, don't go narrow. Then the next mistake that I would avoid is not having enough projects to talk about. This is something that I have spoken, like I mentored a lot of folks, and found out that many of us, like, you have just one project in your resume. And what that does is, when you have just one project in your resume, it's like, it's a red flag for an employer who is interviewing you. Like, why do you have only one project? If you have just completed your bachelor's or master's and you just have one project, that's it. And come on, you need to have more projects. You need to build a repository of projects so that you can showcase and tell, like, even if you just have maybe 2 projects, at least I would say have a minimum of 3 projects on your resume. So, and then maybe a link to your portfolio where you have done a couple of projects. And also it will help the employer say, okay, you know what, this person is actually done these projects. It's interesting. And also, if it would be an advantage to an employer if you've done projects in a similar domain. So they will understand, okay, this is your interest, and maybe you're good at this particular thing. If if it's more of visualizations, if you're good at visuals, put all those projects out there and show them what you are good at. So that's one recommendation. The next mistake I've seen, as many of us are trying to get into this data world, many of them have started to, I think even in the job descriptions these days, I see that it's reduced the importance of domain knowledge. But as a data analyst myself, I would say domain knowledge, understanding the business, is so important as a data analyst. When it comes to domain knowledge, I would say basically understanding the business side of it, right? Like understanding the KPIs, understanding what exactly does, like in finance industry, what are the different metrics that, if you had if you were running a financial industry, right? So always think in terms of if you were to run that company, what are some of the KPIs that you would focus on in order for you to grow that business? This is how a data analyst should be thinking. If you are running a marketing agency, what are the KPIs that you would focus on to grow that company? Is directly adding value to the company. And when you talk in these terms, the employer would love your insights. And this is what exactly an employer is looking for. So try to add as much value to the business, and you can crack any of those interviews. Then the next one is, many of you have reached out to me asking, can I use my sales skills? I think sales folks, you guys have amazing communication skills. You can persuade people, you can convince people. So come on, you have the great communication skills. And also there are many folks who are like in the marketing industry, like who have this digital marketing expertise. You guys have amazing communication skills. Communication is key for a data analyst. When you are going in to ask requirements of what exactly you guys need to measure, that's where communication skills comes into picture. So having great communication skills is very, very important. Then the next mistake is not networking early on. This is one of the mistakes that I personally did when a couple of years ago, when I started my data journey, did not network early on. Like fast forward now, where I've been meeting a lot of data professionals, learning from different people, especially LinkedIn is a great platform for networking. And I have met amazing data professionals through that. And probably I would say do not do this mistake. Start networking early on, even if you are completing your master's program, even if you are like just thinking about moving into data. Start networking. Reach out to that data professional, reach out to someone, talk to them, see what their experience is, because everyone's experience in this industry is really different, because the technology we use is different. So I would say start now. The next one is focus on learning those algorithms, not knowing how to clean the data. So this is one mistake that I have listed in this video, where I go over the technical skills that a data analyst requires. So do go watch that. This is one thing that many of us do, right? Like you go on Kaggle, start learning the algorithms. I know linear regression, I know random forest, I know this algorithm, I know that algorithm. But when it comes to data cleaning, you're lost. I've personally come across people who have this tremendous knowledge about how to build these algorithms. They're more like research oriented. So if you are research oriented, that's great. But when it comes to real world, you need, like, there are companies that data science is like probably just 2 to 3 people in the team. So you will be the one who is actually cleaning the data. So depending on the type of company, the size of the company, and the size of the data team specifically, you might want to change up a little bit, learn the data cleaning skills. And trust me, any organization, you would need to clean the data. You would need to slice and dice the data, transform the data based on what you are planning to build. So data cleaning is super important. So don't do that mistake. Learn how to clean data. And I hope this video helped you all to at least learn from the mistakes that I made. I hope this video helps, and do share this video with your friends, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.